Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, KG, KT, ADC is the elder son of Charles, Prince of Wales, and Diana, Princess of Wales. He is second in line to succeed his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, after his father. William was educated at 4 schools in the United Kingdom and obtained a degree from the University of St Andrews. He spent parts of a gap year in Chile, Belize, and Africa. In December 2006, he completed 44 weeks of training as an officer cadet, being commissioned in the Blues and Royals Regiment. In April 2008, he qualified as a pilot by completing pilot training at Royal Air Force College Cranwell. He then underwent helicopter flying training in order to become a full-time pilot with the RAF Search and Rescue Force in early 2009. His more than 7.5 years of full-time service with the British Armed Forces ended in September 2013. William married Catherine Middleton on the 29th of April 2011 at Westminster Abbey. Hours prior to the event, he was created Duke of Cambridge, Earl of Strathearn, and Baron Carrick-Fergus. Their first child, Prince George of Cambridge, was born on the 22nd of July 2013, and their second, Princess Charlotte of Cambridge, was born on the 2nd of May 2015. Early life. William, the first child of the Prince and Princess of Wales, was born at St Mary's Hospital, London, on the 21st of June 1982 at 9:03 p.m. He weighed 7 pounds 1.5 ounces. A week later, on the 28th of June, his name was announced by Buckingham Palace. William Arthur Philip Lewis. He was baptized in the music room of Buckingham Palace on 4 August 1982 by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Robert Runcie. William had 6 godparents: former King Constantine II of Greece, Princess Alexandra, the Honourable Lady Ogilvy, the Duchess of Westminster, Lady Susan Hussey, Lord Romsey, and Sir Lawrence van der Post. He was the first child born to a Prince and Princess of Wales since Prince John in 1905. William was affectionately called Wombat by his parents, or Wills. At age 7, William reportedly told his mother that he wanted to be a police officer when he was older so that he might be able to protect her, a statement to which his brother Harry responded, "Oh, no you can't. You've got to be king." William's first public appearance was on 1 March 1991, during an official visit of his parents to Cardiff, Wales. After arriving by aeroplane, William was taken to Llandaff Cathedral where he signed the visitor's book, thereby demonstrating that he was left-handed. On 3 June 1991, William was admitted to Royal Berkshire Hospital after being accidentally hit on the side of the forehead by a fellow student wielding a golf club. He did not lose consciousness, but suffered a depressed fracture of the skull and was operated on at Great Ormond Street Hospital, resulting in a permanent scar. In a 2009 interview, he dubbed this scar a Harry Potter scar. He was reported to have said, "I call it that because it glows sometimes and some people notice it, other times they don't notice it at all." Guy Ritchie portrayed him as an 8-year-old prince in the 1996 film, Princess in Love. His mother wanted him and his younger brother Harry to have wider experiences than are usual for royal children. She took them to Walt Disney World and McDonald's as well as AIDS clinics and shelters for the homeless. She bought them typical teenage items, such as video games. Diana, who was by then divorced from the Prince of Wales, died in a car accident in the early hours of 31 August 1997. William, then aged 15, along with his brother who was 12, and father, was staying at Balmoral Castle at the time. The Prince of Wales waited until his sons woke the following morning to tell them about their mother's death. At his mother's funeral, William accompanied his father, brother, paternal grandfather and maternal uncle in walking behind the funeral cortege from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey. Education. William was educated at independent schools, starting at Jane Minor's Nursery School and the pre-preparatory Wetherby School, both in London. Following this, he attended Ludgrove School near Wokingham, Berkshire, and was privately tutored during summers by Rory Stewart. At Ludgrove he also participated in football, along with swimming, basketball, clay pigeon shooting, and cross-country running. William sat for the entrance exam to Eton College and was admitted. There, he studied geography, biology and history of art at A-level, obtaining an A in geography, A, C in biology and A, B in history of art. At Eton, he continued to play football, captaining his house team, and took up water polo. The decision to place William in Eton went against the family tradition of sending royal children to Gordonston. However, both Diana's father and brother had attended Eton. The royal family and the tabloid press agreed that William would be allowed to study free of paparazzi intrusion in exchange for regular updates of the prince's life. The chairman of the Press Complaints Commission, John Wakeham, said of the arrangement, "Prince William is not an institution, nor a soap star, nor a football hero. He is a boy. In the next few years, perhaps the most important and sometimes painful part of his life, he will grow up and become a man." After completing his studies at Eton, William took a gap year, during which he took part in British Army training exercises in Belize, worked in English dairy farms, visited Africa, and for 10 weeks taught children in southern Chile. As part of the Raleigh International program in the town of Tortal, William lived with other young teachers, sharing in the common household chores, including cleaning the toilet, and also volunteered as the guest radio jockey for the local radio station. By 2001, William was back in the United Kingdom and had enrolled, under the name William Wales, at the University of St Andrews. News of this caused a temporary increase in the number of applications to St Andrews, mostly from young women who wanted an opportunity to meet him. The extra attention did not deter him, though, and he embarked on a degree course in art history, later changing his main subject to geography, and going on to earn a Scottish Master of Arts degree with upper second-class honours. While at university, he represented the Scottish National University's water polo team at the Celtic Nations tournament in 2004. He was known as Steve by other students to avoid any journalists overhearing and realizing his identity. William returned to St Andrews in February 2011 as patron of the university's 600th anniversary appeal. Royal duties and career. William began to accompany his parents on official visits at an early age. His first overseas royal tour was with his parents to Australia and New Zealand in 1983. A decision made by the Princess of Wales that was considered to be unconventional. Not only was William so young, but both the first and second in line for the throne would be travelling together. However, he accompanied either both parents or his father on subsequent tours, and, upon graduation from university, began to undertake duties of his own, as well as obtaining experience in the private workforce when he worked with land management at Chatsworth House and interned at HSBC. Military career. Military training and secondments. Having decided to follow a military career, in October 2005 William attended the 4-day Regular Commissions Board at Westbury in Wiltshire, where he underwent selection to judge his suitability to become an army officer. Having passed selection, William went up to the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst in January 2006. Successfully completing the course, William commissioned as a second lieutenant from Sandhurst on 15 December 2006. The graduation parade being attended by the Queen and the Prince of Wales, along with other members of the royal family. William officially received his commission as a lieutenant at midnight, with his rank obtained as Lieutenant Wales. He followed his younger brother into the Blues and Royals as a troop commander in an armoured reconnaissance unit. after which he spent 4 months in training for the post at Bovington Camp, Dorset. Once officially enrolled and commissioned in the armed forces, William wanted active service. In this there were recent precedents. His great-great-uncle Edward VIII, when Prince of Wales, served in France during the First World War. His great-grandfather King George VI served during World War I with the Navy at the Battle of Jutland, and in France with the Air Force, and his paternal grandfather Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, served with distinction during World War II. More recently, his uncle Prince Andrew, Duke of York, served in the Falklands War, though Major General Sir Sebastian Roberts, general officer commanding the Household Division, had said William's deployment was possible. The prince's position as second in line to the throne, and the convention of ministers advising against the person in that position being put into dangerous situations, cast doubts on William's ability to see combat. These doubts increased after Prince Harry's deployment was cancelled in 2007, due to specific threats. William, instead, went on to training in the Royal Navy and Royal Air Force, obtaining his commission as a sub-lieutenant in the former and flying officer in the latter. With this complete, William undertook an attachment with the Royal Air Force, undergoing an intensive 4-month training course at RAF Cranwell. Upon completing the course on the 11th of April 2008, he was presented with his RAF wings by his father, who had himself received his wings after training at the same college. During this secondment, Prince William flew to Afghanistan in a C-17 Globemaster, which repatriated the body of Trooper Robert Pearson. William had been affectionately known by his fellow airmen as Billy the Fish, a pun on the name William Wales. William was then seconded to train with the Navy for 2 months, from June to August 2008. During which time he spent 3 weeks at the Britannia Royal Naval College, training on units of the surface fleet and submarines, as well as with the Fleet Air Arm and the Royal Marines. He spent a day on submarine HMS Talent, during a 5-week deployment on HMS Iron Duke in the Caribbean. He took part in a joint operation with the United States Coast Guard that identified and captured a speedboat carrying 900 kilograms of cocaine worth approximately £40 million. The ship also took part in other raids. Owing to William's future role, a long-term career in the military was considered out of the question. Due to his position, his desire to see active service was always unlikely to be granted. William originally joined the military on a short service commission lasting 3 years. However, it was announced in September 2008 that he would be extending his time in the forces, first by taking on another secondment in 2008. Then it was announced that he would transfer from the Army to the RAF in order to train as a full-time search and rescue helicopter pilot, a role that would enable him to take an active role in the armed forces without being deployed on combat operations. Royal Air Force service. In January 2009, William transferred his commission to the RAF and was promoted to flight lieutenant. He trained to become a helicopter pilot with the RAF's Search and Rescue Force. In January 2010, he graduated from the Defence Helicopter Flying School at RAF Shawbury, where he had been under the instruction of Squadron Leader Craig Finch. On the 26th of January 2010, he transferred to the Search and Rescue Training Unit at RAF Valley on Anglesey to receive training on the Sea King Search and Rescue Helicopter and graduated from this course on the 17th of September 2010. This made him the first member of the British royal family since Henry VII to live in Wales. It was announced on the 15th of April 2010 that William would remain at RAF Valley for his operational tour, being assigned to Sea Flight No. 22 Squadron and initially performing co-pilot duties. His operational tour was expected to last 30 to 36 months. His first rescue mission was a response to an emergency call from the Liverpool Coast Guard on the 2nd of October 2010. William, who was excited to finally take part in an active mission, and the other 3 members of the crew, flew from their base at Raff Valley to an offshore gas rig in Morecambe Bay, northwest England. A man who had suffered an apparent heart attack on the rig was airlifted to a local hospital. In November 2011, he participated in a search and rescue mission involving a sinking cargo ship in the Irish Sea. As co-pilot, he helped rescue 2 sailors, who were then transported to a hospital in Bangor. William deployed to the Falkland Islands for a 6-week tour with no 1564 flight beginning in February and ending in March 2012. The deployment of the Duke to the Falklands close to the 30th anniversary of the beginning of the conflict was condemned by Argentina as a provocative act. In June 2012, Prince William gained a qualification to be captain or pilot in charge of a Sea King rather than a co-pilot. His active service as an RAF search and rescue pilot ended in September 2013. Air ambulance pilot in 2014, it was announced that the Duke would take on a full-time role as a pilot with the East Anglian Air Ambulance, based at Cambridge Airport. Although a qualified military pilot able to operate as a Sea King captain, William needed a civil pilot's license and further training before being permitted to take command of the air ambulance. The position is paid, but it was announced that the Duke would donate his full salary to the air ambulance charity. The Duke of Cambridge spent time at Norwich Airport as a part of his training as an EAAA pilot. On 13 July 2015, the Duke started his new job, which he felt was a natural progression from his previous job as a search and rescue pilot with the Royal Air Force. Royal duties. At the age of 21, Prince William was appointed as a Councillor of State, and began his royal duties by first serving in that capacity when the Queen was in Nigeria to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, 2003. For his 21st birthday, William accompanied his father on a royal tour of Wales, visiting the Anglesey Food Fair and opening a centre for the homeless in Newport. By July 2005, he was on his first solo overseas tour, travelling to New Zealand to participate in World War II commemorations on behalf of his grandmother in her role as Queen of New Zealand. For the 30th anniversary of his father's charity, the Prince's Trust, William and his brother were interviewed together for the first time by Ant and Dec. In July 2007, Prince William accompanied his grandmother's cousin, the Duke of Kent, who is president of the UK Scout Association, in opening the 21st World Scout Jamboree, celebrating the centennial of the founding of the Scout movement. Tina Brown said in her 2007 biography of Diana, Princess of Wales, that Prince William had, like his father, expressed a desire to become Governor-General of Australia, though the idea was considered doubtful by Prime Minister of Australia John Howard, who said, "We have for a long time embraced the idea that the person who occupies that post should be in every way an Australian citizen." In 2009, a private office was set up for William by his grandmother, with Sir David Manning as his advisor. Manning personally accompanied him in January 2010 as he toured Auckland and Wellington on behalf of the Queen. William opened the new building of the Supreme Court of New Zealand and was welcomed by a Maori chief. William succeeded Lord Attenborough in 2010 as the 5th President of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. In March 2011, William visited Christchurch, New Zealand, after the recent earthquake, and addressed the memorial service at Hagley Park on behalf of his grandmother. Upon leaving New Zealand, William travelled to Australia to visit areas badly affected by flooding in the states of Queensland and Victoria. After twice accompanying his parents to Canada, Prince William, with his wife, toured the country and visited the United States in June and July 2011, attending Canada Day celebrations on Parliament Hill. On the 2nd of November, the Duke and Duchess visited the UNICEF Supply Division Centre for supplying food to malnourished African children in Copenhagen, Denmark. In September 2012, they toured Singapore, Malaysia, Tuvalu and the Solomon Islands as part of the Queen's Jubilee celebrations. In April 2014, the Duke and Duchess undertook a royal tour together to New Zealand and Australia. From 2021 September, he took his wife's place on a tour of Malta, for the island's 50th anniversary of its independence from Britain. On October 21, the Duke and Duchess met the President of Singapore Tony Tan as part of his state visit to the United Kingdom. In December 2014, he met U.S. President Barack Obama in the Oval Office, publicly advocating against illegal wildlife trade. In March 2015, Prince William visited Beijing, Shanghai and Yunnan in China from 1 to 4 March. Chinese President Xi Jinping welcomed him as he began the first visit to the mainland by a member of the British royal family in almost 3 decades.